feel like home, all for you. Just catch me and go. Speaking of love, ay, we like thighs and we like lips. You said no, please don't tell no one about this shit. No.
When a couple of friends and I decided to go check out a small northern San Diego County crag called Culp Valley, I had no idea that it was about to become my latest obsession. I had heard of the place but never been, and most people that I asked were rather unimpressed with the area. So we headed out with low expectations, set up camp for the night, had a couple beers, and decided to look at some of the boulders surrounding us in the campsite hills, knowing full well that all the established stuff was across the highway or across the campground from us. After wandering around for a little bit, we came across a small, overhanging roof boulder that had obvious holds visible from a distance. We got a little closer, and it was also obvious that no one had climbed this before. It looked like a good line, and my heart kind of jumped at the idea of being able to put up my very own outdoor boulder problem, which I never thought was possible. So myself, Owen, Nick, and Zach Lane came up early the next morning, abandoning the established climbs that we knew were across the highway. We cleaned and chalked the holds, worked out the moves, and before I know it, Owen and I had made the first ascents of this boulder. We called it Mexican Hat Dance, gave it a grade we felt appropriate, and that was mine and Owen's first ascent. We'd spent most of the day on this problem, so we were tired and satisfied, and decided to head home for the day, but I did not stop thinking about this climb or this area for even a second. Having found such a unique and interesting boulder problem so close to camp kept me up at night, because I realized that there has to be more in this area. There has to be more unfound gems just waiting to be climbed. And I got back out there as soon as I possibly could the next weekend, and with a little exploration, we immediately began to uncover more and more of these beautiful, obvious, and fun boulder problems that had gone years being completely ignored. And over 3 weekends, we established and documented over a dozen new problems, and I began to realize we were establishing a whole new area.
You feel like home, I fall for you. Just catch me and go. I miss the way. I miss the way you love me. Speaking of love, ay, we like thighs and we like lips. You said no, please don't tell no one about this shit. No, ay, I'm gonna swallow the key. If that's what you're into, that secretive love, ay, between you and me. Need someone to come and give you a reason to love, ay. We cut ties, I lost my grip. I said no, do that push me, I feel like I might slip off. No, hey, I'm gonna swallow the key. If that's what you're into, that secretive love, hey, between you and me.
I began to post our findings on Mountain Project, and thus the northern area of the Culp Valley Primitive Campground was born. 15 boulder problems in, and I found myself wanting more, specifically more complex, more difficult boulder problems that would give people something to project, something that would really challenge them. So Kobe, Nick, and myself set out looking for harder projects, and we'd only walked a couple hundred feet when we found Solaire, an aesthetic, striking, sharp, and physical lowball problem that was way different than anything else in this area. We weren't sure it would go, but soon we found a line up the right side of the boulder. It was technical and challenging, but after a session, Kobe was able to snag the first ascent. We named it, suspected a grade around V6, and then Kobe did what Kobe does, and he put up a harder sit start that adds 2 difficult moves into the original climb. And that goes about in the V7, V8 range. This marked the hardest boulder problem that we had found so far, and it was unlike anything that I had done outdoors in this point anywhere. Problem's unique, technical, and very athletic, and this opened up a mental floodgate for me wherein I realized, like, holy shit, there are actually hard boulders out here, like lines that can challenge and push even stronger climbers, stuff that's worth projecting. Most have dismissed this area thinking there's nothing like this out here, but I began to look for harder, less obvious lines, and the very next trip I stumbled across one that became my current project.
So a few weekends back we were exploring the south-facing hill of this area that we were looking into up in the northern section of the campground, and I found a line that was semi-hidden because it's on a boulder that leans up against another boulder, and I just kind of stumbled across it wandering around, and there were obvious holds there. They were really far apart, but I knew the second I saw it from probably 50 feet away that there was something really good there. And 2 things I knew immediately after touching the holds is, 1, this is going to be a really, really good line, and 2, it's going to be really, really tough. You can tell by the angle of the wall, the positioning, the fact that the foot was so far away. It was just going to be a really difficult problem.
This line that I found was right next to a climb that my friend Zach Lane had put up that he had called Butter and Beer, so I went with that and decided to call it just Beer. It was a 3-move problem, but each of the 3 moves was difficult and challenging in its own way. The start was left hand on a small quarter to half pad crimp, and you bump up right to a sloping side pole crimp, and then you have to gain the body tension and gear up for a monster bump to a jug rail above. The foot's almost far enough away to be completely useless, and each of the moves were difficult for me in isolation, making the entire problem just feel almost undoable 99% of the time. And honestly, it was extremely nice to have found something that would really push me to my limit.
So we're heading out again now, and I've spent the last 2 weekends and 3 brutal sessions working this thing, trying to get it done, and immediately as I started working it, there were several unanswered questions. Does it even go? Would be one of them. If it does go, am I good enough to do it? Can I really make this climb mine? Am I physically capable of doing it? And I would climb and tried climbing last weekend until my fingertips bled, and I had to give up and go home, which was really frustrating. But we're coming back again, and I'm really hoping to put this thing to bed this weekend and answer some of those questions. God, that hurts.
Yes, come on. Yes, come on. How do you feel, Liam?
Lighter, like a ginormous weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I've dreamt about this climb. I've thought about it every day, at least once, and been so frustrated that I couldn't do it, and so frustrated that I was so close to doing it, and for whatever reason just couldn't capitalize. And I was doubting my own abilities as a climber, and my future as a climber. It got dark for a while, I'm not gonna lie. This climb really challenged me, but it just makes the victory that much sweeter. So I feel awesome. You guys should all come up here and try this thing. Rock on, baby.
And the ocean was all we could see, and I knew that I wanted
yesterday our day got cut a little bit short by some unexpected rain. We probably had to stop climbing around 3 or 4 o'clock, and it did not let up until the sun was down. So it's a beautiful day today, and luckily yesterday I was able to finish just beer before it started raining. Otherwise I would have raged really hard. But we're here. Hopefully we're going to find some new cool stuff today. And Nick met up with us yesterday. He is on the can at the moment. He's going to meet us out here though. So hopefully we can put up some more cool lines.
And the ocean was all we could see, and I knew that I wanted you.
Get her, she's dancing like a stripper. Somebody come get her. She's feeling all the liquor. Liquor? I hardly know her.
Pushing past the limit, tripping on hallucinogenics. My cigarette burnt my finger 'cause I forgot I lit it. Ripping with my sinners 'cause fuck it man, I ain't no beginner. And then I crawled back to the life that I said I wouldn't live in. I just couldn't open up, I'm always shifting. Go find yourself a
Some of these lines that we have found out here have inspired me in ways that I can't possibly communicate.
Pushing past the limit, tripping on hallucinogens.
These striking arrests, the memorable mantles, the dynamic movements, they'll be stuck with me forever. And I'm unbelievably stoked to have been able to work towards the development of this area with my friends and the people I care about, and to be able to leave our mark. It sounds corny, but it feels like we're leaving a part of ourselves on every climb that we find out here. The process of finding a line, believing in it, and working it out together has changed my knowledge and understanding of climbing as a whole for the better. And I'm really hoping that in the future, we can draw some more attention back to this area, but also that people everywhere can realize that there are boulders out there that deserve to be looked at and deserve to be climbed. And I'll be here every chance I get, looking for new lines, cleaning holds, and making memories that I will not soon forget.
And then I crawl back to the life that I said I wouldn't live in. 'Cause I carried on like the wayward sun, and now through and through I have come undone.